The Isle of Wight is steeped in maritime history, from shipbuilding to famous sailing regattas. This vibrant industry is an important part of the island's economy.
Because we're an island surrounded by water, it is very important, not just for what we do, but you've got marinas full of yachts and powerboats, and they all need building and servicing, maintaining. So it is very important, and also for the island as a whole, because the tourism, especially during Cows Week, will bring in all that finance.
The contribution that marine-associated activities brings to the island is huge, as Cowes Harbour Master explained.
Back, I think, in 2001, 2002, the actual revenue that yachting and yachting relating brought into the island was somewhere in the region of 56 million. So, yeah, it is enormously important.
This money comes into the economy as a result of bringing people to the island, but also through commercial boat building and repair.
There are some very strong elements. The South boats are working very well. They've got a fantastic product. They're in a niche market. We need to support these companies.
South Boats is a good example of a company which is helping the island economy in a big way.
South Boats employs 82 people, right, on the books. We've got about 40 to 50 subcontractors, painters, electricians, aluminium construction workers. I think we put something like £8 million, one way or another, back into the local economy on the south coast. And about 5 million of that went near enough directly into the Isle of Wight.
There is a handful of niche boat builders on the island, and they're doing well despite the recession. Barry Groves from Cowes Marine Cluster helps to bring the marine-related businesses together.
We still have quite a few people like South Boats that are producing the correct boats. We've got Cheetah Marine. There's quite a few still actually manufacturing here, and they have very long order lists. And Seaward Marine, again, is a very specialist company making their own boats, which have got worldwide reputations. So we seem to be beating the odds and doing very well. As part of my job as international trade manager, I do the export documentation. So we do have a lot of inside knowledge on how the Isle of Wight is doing exporting wise. We think we're doing our own, doing a good job in holding our own in a very difficult climate at the moment. And the marine sector is holding up as good as anyone.
Companies like South Boats take on as much work as they can, but Clive is aware that if they want to break into the export market, they will need to expand.
The Swedish boys was one of our early customers, and they're good customers to us, but we can't actually keep up with what we've actually got to produce for the UK market at the moment. So if we did go for the export market in a bigger way, I think what we'd have to do is try and license it out to companies to try and meet that market. I don't think South Boats could meet that market at the moment.
Cheetah Marine is another example of a small boat building company on the island, but is thriving despite the current recession.
We've always diversified, so we've always built boats to order and what people want. We're not mass production. We're more niche market, which is higher value product, smaller number, but they maintain their value as well. I think any boat building business is a challenge to make sure your product's right. Your staff are motivated and keen. Good staff is important. I think the island has some good people, but you still need to keep on top of all that.
The island has a core of skilled workers in the marine sector. This is helped by the fact that many boatyards take on apprentices and train them in the required skills.
I think as long as you can keep the right hands coming through the yard, it doesn't matter if you lose some of them, as long as you know they're going to be replaced. So you're training for everybody, not just for yourself. So we've had apprentices ever since I started my company.
At the RNLI Inshore Lifeboat Centre, Glyn and his team make sure they are never short of skilled workers by taking on apprentices.
What we tend to do, we train our own apprentices. We've got 3 modern apprenticeships currently, and we run a 4-year scheme. So we actually train our own. Where we think there's a skill shortage, we will actually train them. So, and that's been going for 12 years.
Another key part to the development of the island's marine sector is the Cowes Outer Harbour project. The plans to build an outer breakwater to turn Cowes into a truly sheltered harbour have been controversial, but are finally going ahead. The plans also include a marina in East Cowes as part of a regeneration of that area. Once completed, there will be additional space for boats to stay overnight, and the project will undoubtedly make Cowes a safer and more attractive option to visiting yachtsmen.
I believe Cowes Outer Harbour plan will be good for local businesses. It will also help the commercial sector, the marine boat building sector. It is raising the level of Cowes. It is bringing more yachtsmen into Cowes, and that again slowly feeds into the local economy. The more yachts that you have here, either as visitors requiring repairs, but also the yachtsmen will then look at Cowes with the opportunity, can I keep my boat here? Can I bring my boat to Cowes and to the island for longer repairs or storage in the winter? So yes, it's going back, it's more yacht tourists bringing revenue, and also that will drip feed down into other marine jobs.
I'm absolutely convinced that the Outer Harbour project, and particularly the breakwater, will be great for Cowes businesses because, as I said, in a northerly or northeasterly wind, the harbour can become pretty untenable, and making it a safer and more attractive place will just increase the amount of people coming to Cowes. Not so much for events like Cowes Week, 'cause it doesn't really affect us very much, but for just overnight stops, and that will have a beneficial effect on all the local businesses.
But not everyone is positive about the plans.
I've talked to a lot of people who I know for many years, and I have not talked to any person yet that says he thinks it's a good idea. It wouldn't have any impact on South Boats. I mean, I think it might have impact on the people with sailing, sailing and yacht racing and all that. I mean, I don't think it won't have any effect on South Boats.
I know Red Funnel have a few issues. The people in East Cowes certainly have issues about the development of it. The River Medina certainly is ripe for development. So Cowes Harbour development, I think, will expand all the way up to Newport.
Yarmouth Harbour also has plans for redevelopment, and Chris Lisher, Yarmouth Harbour Master, is also experiencing difficulties trying to keep everyone happy with the proposals.
If you want to bring tourists to the island and you want some industries, I'm afraid you are going to come into conflict with the environment. And you can't have it both ways, and you have to come to some sort of route down the middle. Do we always get it right? No, but we try to.
Redevelopment is important to any local community if it's going to continue to attract tourists and increase its economy. The Outer Harbour project in Cowes aims to achieve this, but the change in the harbour layout is cause for concern for some.
For Yarmouth and the rest of the island, a particular issue is space. We haven't got much space to expand, to grow, to bring in more business. There are conflicts with the residents on the island, many of whom are reluctant to see change, so they don't want to see new developments.
There's always change. Whenever you do a major development, there will always be changes. Change isn't necessarily a bad thing. We've recently seen the changes on the parade with the development of the RYS Haven and the Trinity Landing, again in very key elements, important areas of the harbour. But there was a great deal of concern when those developments were actually mooted and discussed, etc. But now that they've actually been delivered, I think most people will say, yes, it is a change to the environment, but it brings new interest, and some people say it looks like they've always been there.
My view on development generally is that as long as it's thought of with long-term goodness in mind, then most development is almost by definition good. It's when short-term profits come to the fore that development becomes bad. And I think generally the island has a good record of looking longer term rather than just looking for a quick profit.
Looking long-term is the key to successful development, and although the heyday of island marine activity may have passed, it's clear the island's marine businesses are still going strong.